Welcome to Literature Circles in Second Grade.
My name is Trish Weaver. I teach second grade at Stevenson Elementary School in Bloomington, Illinois. Let's Talk About Text Day is usually on a Friday, and this is a time when the students get together in their small groups, and usually about 5 or 6 students together. Now, today I had literature circles as one workstation, question card stems as another, and then we had story sequence cards that they worked with. The story that we're reading was called Big Bushy Mustache, and it was a story that was in our reading series. And I chose that particularly today because it did pose a problem for the kids that I felt like they could relate to. This boy had been given a part in a play at school, and his disguise or costume was using this mustache. The teacher told him to leave their costumes at school, and instead he decides to wear his home because he was so excited. Of course, on the way home, he loses his mustache. For the literature circles section, they had previously filled out a job sheet, and their jobs would be circle supervisor. It's important, I have found, to have someone that knows how to keep the group going. And in doing that, I have talked previously with the circle supervisor, the student, and I gave he or she the tips on what to say to get everyone to stay on task. And of course, in the beginning, when we first started this, that was a difficult task because they all did want to speak out at one time. So I've tweaked it a little bit. I've actually gotten microphones that are not real, but they look like a microphone. So it's the circle supervisor's job to hand off the microphone to one of the students that actually puts his finger up, and that's the indication to the circle supervisor that they would like to speak. There are several different types of jobs that students can have during a literature circle. We're in our beginning stages, and so I have used some jobs that are a little bit on lower level questioning types of activities. And I'm looking for the evaluative type strategy today to see what their feelings were about the story. I have chosen jobs that tried to show me that they were being able to understand the story and give me their feelings about it. One of those types of jobs was called I Want to Share. And for that one, they would draw a picture of something that they wanted to share. And then there was a space that they could write about that and why they thought that that was something that was important to them. Another type of job was book review, where they could simply circle whether they liked or did not like this book or story. But then they also had to write down why they did not like that story or why they did like it. And again, they're encouraged to go back in the story, find the information, look at the pictures, and use that type of information and tell us why. I was really more like a facilitator today. I got around to all the groups, and I would sit in, first of all, and just listen to see what was going on and observe if they were being able to work cooperatively together. And then I would ask them a question or a follow up question with where they were. And so I went back and forth several times to all the groups as they were in their discussions. They were working independently, but it's because we have modeled it and practiced it before. In our guided reading group, we would talk about the different jobs and practice it a little bit there. I also told them I can't be everywhere at one time. So when they have a problem, until I get back to their group, they need to talk about the problem. And again, still use positive language, but talk about it before I get back there so that, and talk about what can be done. So in second grade, that's a very grown up idea, but they were getting better at it because when we have had circles before, it did start out that there were disagreements and some students didn't get along, and that all did happen. As I've told them that it's okay to disagree with someone, but there are ways to do that. I have a small acrylic stand at each of the group centers, and they actually, it says ways to agree and disagree. And we've practiced that in our guided reading groups. And today it was much better. And I find each time that it does get better. So I feel like talking about the text helps them become more positive in how they look at reading because we have reluctant readers and we also have students that just don't like to speak up very much. So I find that it's kind of twofold in that way that it helps them to learn to speak and think about what they're needing to get across to other students, and also to learn to listen so that if they don't understand something, they can learn from others in their group.
To learn more about literature circles, please explore the additional resources on the Doing What Works website.